That's the Kaiser Chiefs, and good days, bad days here on FM 100.5. It is 7:22 and 37 degrees at the Kdec studios. And you know, there's been a lot of excitement. There's been a little bit of screeching. This might have happened in my home last night. I'm interviewing Hank Green on the radio tomorrow.
Please bring me on, please bring me on, please.
Did you just drop your iPad?
There was dropping of an iPad.
Do you like him?
I'm in love with his channels. I'm subscribed to all of them, even the ones he doesn't post on anymore. And I have a lot of his music albums on download. And I have all of his brother's books. And I love that family so much.
I love that family so much. That's how the evening ended with my daughters begging to come in this morning. We have on the phone with us this morning a nerd fighter, a man who has just made a name for himself on the world of the internet. Hank Green, welcome to the show this morning, Hank.
Hi, I hope no iPads were harmed in the filming of that audio.
Luckily, the iPad had already been harmed in a previous dropping incident, so we were okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
well, that was wonderful. Your daughter just made me feel guilty about not posting on the channels I don't post on anymore.
Okay. Glad we could help add to your, sense of guilt and all the things that, with everything you're accomplishing, why not do a few more things? Before we start here, that I actually have an exchange student from the Netherlands, Rosa, who has been a huge fan of yours. In fact, when we met her years ago, she's the one who told my daughters and myself about you and your brother. And so through her, she's now listening in the Netherlands right now. And so I have to thank Rosa for at least keeping this old lady somewhat abreast of what's going on in pop culture. But that's what we're talking about this morning is, Hank Green, you've done a lot of things, including the vlog with your brother and YouTube shows like The SciShow, which you are now a host of. Can you tell us quickly, for those that aren't aware of the SciShow on YouTube and how really incredibly powerful it's become in the lives of teenagers especially, what is the SciShow?
Basically, it's an exploration of the world. The world is a fascinating place, and we are learning more and more about it every day as a species. And SciShow is just a chance to explore that and to talk about what science has discovered, how we know the things that we know, and what we're still trying to figure out.
See, this is so exciting because I think what people might not realize, that 200 million views and more than 2 million subscribers. I mean, that's not small change.
No, it's a lot of people. It actually freaks me out a little bit when I think about how many views 200 million really is.
Yeah.
But I try not to think about it too much, and just try it. Be excited and curious about the world, which is, sort of my default state. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Well, when we talk about the popularity of educational channels, there are a lot of questions people are asking. Like what do you do when people say, because they ask you a lot of questions, but some of them are pretty open-ended. Like if one of the questions I've seen out there a lot is, what is love? How do you answer that?
Well, different scientists would have different takes on that question. Like I think a biologist would say like there's an evolutionary purpose to love, and a psychologist would talk about our innate human needs for connection, and but you would also talk about it just in terms of brain chemistry. Like there are things that happen in your brain when you're in love, and we have studied those things, and it's weirdly similar to taking certain drugs. It is basically a drug happening, a bunch of drugs. There's lots of different drugs going on in your brain when you fall in love. Some of those are immediate, and they don't spend a lot of time, and you sort of experience it for a while, and you probably shouldn't want to experience it constantly. But others stick around for a very long time, and those ones we can sort of say are responsible for more of the love that we think of as love and less of as falling in love.
Right. It's kind of that thing that makes you obsess about someone's green light on Facebook. Like, oh, they're on. We're both on at the same time. I mean,
yeah.
To spend that much time worrying about that, what are we thinking?
Some of the chemical interactions that happen when you're falling in love, when you're being super infatuated, are similar to the brain chemistry of people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, which is why you obsess and why you have compulsions when you're falling in love. That's why you stare at that green light. That's why why you check your phone every 5 seconds to make sure that they haven't texted you yet.
Yes. Why do we go crazy about these things? You'll hear, especially, oh my goodness, teenagers and young 20s. Sorry, love you guys, but holy cow, you can really get focused.
I think it's a universal thing. We were all like that once.
Yes. Oh, to have that again, right? So here's a couple other questions for you. How about this really innocent question? Hank Green, what is the meaning of life?
Well, we decided to answer that question, and it is a
Really?
little strange that when Google provided us with a list of the most asked questions, the questions people type into their search engine, that what is the meaning of life came up. It seemed like maybe there's better places to look for that answer to that question. But from the scientific perspective, we sort of looked at it as like biologically, what is the meaning of life? So why does life exist, and what does life do? And it's pretty clear when you boil it all down that life exists to create more life, because there are no immortal organisms, and if every organism didn't continue trying to make copies of itself, or in whatever way we do that, it would all stop. It would stop very fast. There wouldn't be any life very suddenly, and there's been life for a very long time, so it's pretty good at that job. It's pretty good at making more life.
This is what's so exciting about your program. I think, what I thought was interesting to find out is that people are, especially, it's kind of the big trend that education category, like on YouTube, is actually being viewed twice as much as like pets and animals, which of course we all share the kitty videos, right? So it's nice to know that education's getting in there. And I love that Google decided to take the world's most asked questions, at least on Google, and then deliver them to you in this package saying, what can you do with this, Hank Green? And you just decided, hey, let's make a show out of it. I mean, that's no easy task.
Yeah. Well, I am just honored that Google provided me with that data, because they can be pretty controlling of their information. And so I was pretty amazed when they were like, well, we'll just get an engineer to spit that out for you. I was pretty excited. But for me, answering questions is what I do. Like, it didn't seem daunting at all. I mean, there were obviously questions on the list that I didn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. But
give me one. What was one?
There are certain things
Tell
that
me one question.
Science doesn't have a lot to say about. How are Kim and Kanye doing? Kind of questions.
Oh.
Where I was like, well, that's probably a Google question. That's not a SciShow question.
Oh, yeah, we don't need that. Although a scientific answer on that one might be helpful for some of the understanding. So, hey, listen.
I think what we need to study is why we're asking that question. I think science can have a few things to say about that.
Well, is it somewhat connected to...
That would be an interesting graduate thesis for any students out there.
Right? Well, is it somewhat connected to what is love? Why are we having these obsessions with celebrities? Are we... I don't know.
It is certainly possible. Absolutely.
Again, Hank Green.
A good thesis.
It is a good thesis. And all you Luther College students here in the area, why don't you guys start working on that? Let us know what you find out. Hank Green, again, is the host of the SciShow. And when and how can we find these educational videos that you're doing on Google? Are they ready and up and ready to go now?
Yeah, we're uploading our episode on what the meaning of life is today. It's not online yet, but it will be shortly. But you can find out how old the Earth is and how to get rid of hiccups and other fascinating things at youtube.com/scishow.
Yeah, the one I'm least interested in.
SCISHOW.
Okay, we'll make sure to give that again. The one I'm least interested, by the way, as a 40-year-old woman, is how to grow a beard. I think I'm already figuring that one out. No, we'll just let that go.
Uh-oh.
What is the deal with all of us older ladies?
As a 35-year-old guy, I actually continue to be unable to grow a beard. So that's just...
We should talk.
What's happening? Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Again, I'm talking with Hank Green here on FM 100.5, his host of the SciShow. He's got the educational channels and how you can find out questions like, what is love? Why is the sky blue? What is the meaning of life? And of course, how many calories should I eat? Which I ask myself every single day after eating something with 800 calories. Tell me, before we go again, if they're not into you yet, but want to start stalking you like the rest of us do, tell us where to find the show and how to find you generally.
Well, my name is Hank Green, and if you want to find me generally, you can just Google me, because that's what people do these days. And if you want to get smart and learn all about how fascinating the world is, you can find that at youtube.com/scishow, SCISHOW. I forgot how to spell for a second.
It's just spelling. Hey, you're into science. I get it. And we'll
Totally
find
different.
Yeah, totally different. We will find that right now. In fact, I will go do that as soon as Hank and I get off the air, and I will post it on KDEC's Facebook page so you guys have instant access to it when that gets uploaded today. Hank Green, thank you so much for joining me on the air this morning, and thank you for making all of our nerdy girls in the area scream like Elvis just walked into the room.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks again. Hank Green, Nerdfire, host of the Sci Show, and all around fantastic guy. You can see why so many of us are truly obsessed. Okay, we'll find out more information. I will post that on our KDC Facebook page, and I've got to get you over to sports, so let's do that right now while Darren Swenson is ready to go. He may not be able to answer what the meaning of life is, but he can tell you how Decorah Vikings